Hello guys, welcome to this session on file handling in Python. In this session, you will be learning about how to open a file, read from a file, write into a file, and how to close the file using built-in file methods available in Python. So let's open our PyCharm IDE and understand more on file handling in Python. So we have our PyCharm IDE ready. Let's create a normal text file in our project directory and write some text and save it. Okay. So right click on a project folder and click on new and then click on file and give some codes.txt. Okay, so this is a normal text file. I'm going to paste this content and then I'm saving this file. Okay, so now we have our file ready and saved in our project folder. Now let's use some of the inbuilt function to perform certain operations on this particular file. Basically in Python, the file operations takes place in sequence. That is, first we need to open a file, then we may perform either read or write operation, and finally we need to close the file. So let's understand by an example. So we have created this normal text file called course, right? So in order to proceed some operations on file, let's open our Python console. So let's create a file handler here. So that is nothing but a variable. Let's say file equal to open, and then inside that you must give the file name course.txt. Basically, open function will take two arguments. One is a file name and the other one is a mode of operation. Here you simply give the file name, right? But sometimes the file might be located in different servers or different locations. Then in that case, you need to provide a full path where the file actually exists. And the different file modes are R for read, W for write, A for append, and X for creating a new file, and T for text, and B for binary code. So you can use plus operator to perform more than one operation like read and write, like read and append or something like that. In this particular statement, we just mentioned the file name to open it, but we didn't mention any mode, right? Like reading, writing, or appending some text to your existing file. If you don't mention any mode means Python will automatically consider this file will be open in a read mode and this file is of text type. Okay, so if you want to specifically open the file in a write mode, you need to open the file by providing a write mode after the file name. Now we have our file open. Now let's read the file content using the inbuilt function read. Okay, so now file dot read. If you simply give this and if you hit enter, whatever the content inside this particular file will be displayed here. See, for every new line, Python will add a new line character and then continuing the rest of the lines. Now if you try to execute the same read statement, it won't display anything because the cursor has reached to the end of the file. In that case, if the next set of lines available, it will display, otherwise it will display a blank. So you need to reset the cursor position to starting. How you can do is you can use seek method in order to reset the cursor position to a starting position by providing value as 0, like file dot seek. Inside if you provide 0, now the cursor position is at 0, that is nothing but the starting of the file. Now if you read again, you'll get the content. If you execute again, it won't display anything, it simply display the blank because as it reached end of the file. So now I'm going to reset the file to your starting position. And we have another function called readline function, so which will actually read one line at a time. So file dot readline, and if you give like this, it will display the first line and the lunar character, and if you again give read line, it will display the next line in the file. Okay, like that. If you give one more time, it will display the next line. So like that, it will read one line at a time and display the result as a output. And inside the read function, you can specify the size as well, how many characters you want to read. Like let's say file dot read, within the bracket if I say 5, and then from the cursor position it will read next 5 characters. So if you hit enter, now you see all T. So we have actually given to read 5 characters. If you see here in the last line, we have A, L, L and space and then T. So while reading it, it would consider space also as a character. So that's why we got the output as only these 5 characters. Okay. So likewise, if you give again another 5, it will read the rest of the characters like he space ve, like that. Okay, this is how you can read a content of a file. Let's close this file now. File dot close. Okay. Now let's try to open a file again using write mode. File equal to open course.txt comma the type of the mode I want to, that is nothing but the write mode using a character W. Okay, if I hit enter now, the file is in write mode now. Now if you wanted to write some content to the file, what you can do is file dot write, inside the bracket just provide the sentence you wanted to write. This is the new line added to the file. Okay, so now if you hit enter, this is the new line added to the file. So now let's close the file to get the changes get reflected in a file. Now file dot close. Now if you see this, the entire content of a file got replaced with the new line. If you open a file in write mode, it will delete all the content inside and it will replace with the new sentence which you are going to write to your file. If suppose if you want to open a file again, file equal to open post.txt and then comma. If you want to add without deleting the previous content, you simply give a as a mode, that is nothing but append. Now the file is open in an append mode. Now I wanted to write file dot write. This is another line added to the file. Okay, now let's close this file, file dot close, and then close this as well. Refresh the project folder and then try to open the file. This is another line added to file we just added, right? So what append operation will do is it will add a new line at the end of the file. Okay, these are all the different operations. So far we did read, write and append and closing operations on existing files, right? If you want to create a new file, then we must use the mode either write, append or create in order to create a new file. So let's open file equal to open a new file. I'm going to create test.txt comma x, which is used for creating a file. If I hit enter now, so let's refresh our project folder here. So now you can see the new file created under project folder, that is nothing but text.txt, but this is actually an empty text. Now you need to open a file using write mode, test.txt comma write. Now file dot write, inside hello welcome to the Python programming. So now if I hit enter, those 44 characters got updated inside a file. Now let's close this file so that we'll be able to save the details. Close. Now if you refresh the folder and then see here, the content hello welcome to the Python programming got updated inside a file. So basically if you open a file with a create mode, that is nothing but x, if the file present with the file name, it will throw you an error, otherwise it will create a new file. Or if you use either W or A mode, if the specified file does not exist, these modes will create a new file, or if the file exists, then the files will get open with a write or append modes. So this is how you can create a new file and append text to your file, and you can perform on existing files using write, read and append mode operations. If suppose if you wanted to delete a file, then we need to import another module called operating system module. Then we use remove function to remove a file. Now we import operating system module. Now the OS module got imported. Now I'm going to use os.remove and inside I'm going to provide a file name test.txt. Okay, if I hit enter now, it will delete the file. Now we have the file available, right? Now if you refresh the folder, the text file got deleted from a project folder. Okay, likewise you can create a new file using create mode, and you can try to write some text using write mode, and you can append some text using an append mode, and you can finally remove a file from a project folder. And in sometimes while dealing with files, you may encounter issues like file already present if you are trying to create a new file with existing file name, or file not found error, etc., right? In order to handle such errors, we go for a exception handling techniques on files. In Python, we have try and except blocks to handle such runtime exceptions. We have separate session on exception handling in Python. For now, just understand how to create a try except blocks to avoid exceptions in runtime while dealing with files. Okay, now let's create a file here. So right click on new file, nothing but Python file, exception on files. So this is another file. I'm just closing this thing. So we have our new Python file ready. In that I'm trying to open a file in create mode. In this I'm going to create a new file called course.txt, assuming the course.txt is not created or not available inside a project folder. So let's say file1 equal to open, inside I'm going to give course dot txt comma, I'm going to give the mode as create mode. Okay, so now I'm going to save this. Let's run this file and see what will happen. Okay, now if you see here, we got a file exist error. So this is one of the exception that we faced because the file already present inside the folder course.txt. That is why we got the error message and the program got terminated. But instead of displaying this kind of error message to the user, we can handle the situation using exception handling techniques in Python using try and except blocks. So I'm going to comment this. Now I'm going to handle the situation in a different way using try and except blocks. So I have a try block here. Inside I'm copying this, and then in the except block I'm going to give this error name as a exception name, and I'm going to print the given file name already present in directory. Please use different file name. Okay, if file exists, instead of displaying this error message, I wanted to display this particular message to the user. Okay, now we have a finally block inside print thank you. Okay, so this is the block which I'm using to handle this kind of exception during runtime. Now let's save this and then rerun this program. So now let's see what happened. As the course.txt already present inside our directory, instead of getting the error message like file exist error, now we have the message like the given file name already present in directory, please use different file name, and finally we have a thank you. So this is how you can handle this kind of exception. Instead of terminating a program, we can make the program complete successfully with a proper message to the user. If suppose if you are trying to create a new file like course1, you save and execute. Now we have a new file got created course1.txt here, and we have the finally block executed saying thank you, and there are no exceptions got triggered during runtime. This is how you can handle exceptions while you're doing some operations on files. So that's it guys, we come to an end of this session. Thanks for watching. Please do subscribe, like and share, and also do write your feedback under comment section. Thanks again, and I'll see you in our next session, which is completely on exception handling.